welcome to No Recipe Required. I'm Dave, and tonight I've got an awesome spaghetti recipe for you. We're going to do a cherry tomato and artichoke sauce. Very simple to do, all super fresh ingredients. We'll throw some garlic in there. I'm sure I've got some wine, we can toss that in as well. I think you're going to love it, and it's one of those dishes you can put together in just like 5, 10, 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first step in our tomato and artichoke spaghetti is to sear off or cook off some of our tomatoes. I'm using this kind of mix of cherry tomatoes, red and yellow. I think the colors look absolutely perfect. I'm going to add into the pan, good hot pan with a good amount of olive oil, a little bit of salt. I'm just going to let them cook over nice high heat until the cherry tomatoes kind of burst open. We're not looking to like cook this down. This isn't like a deep, dark, rich tomato sauce. We're keeping them light and fresh, high acid, and great flavor. Okay, so this is what we want our tomatoes to look like. Just kind of wilt it down. And then I'm going to add in a diced shallot and a couple diced garlic cloves. This is also the time I'm going to drop my spaghetti in salted boiling water. That's going to take, you know, more than 7, 8, probably 10 minutes, 12 minutes to cook, which is really all the time we're going to need to make this sauce. I think pan's looking a little dry, so I'm going to add some olive oil. This is a heavy olive oil sauce, right? So don't be afraid of it. And we're going to cook those garlic and shallot over kind of medium-high heat until they're nice and soft. Okay, so once our shallots and garlic are sauteed or just sweated off a little bit, we're going to add our white wine, probably about a 1/4 cup or so, just enough to coat, and then scrape off the bottom, let it reduce by half before we add our chicken stock. Okay, so our wine's reduced down by about half. We're going to add about the same amount of chicken stock, and this is essentially going to be our sauce, right? You can add even a little bit more because our pasta is going to thicken up the sauce once it hits it. The starch with the pasta, with the water, all that kind of stuff. It's all wonderful. So let's bring this up to a boil, reduce it down. Pasta's almost done. We'll drain it, add it right in. So, I hate to shortchange you. We said tomato and artichokes. I've got some essentially jarred artichokes are fine. If you want to make them from scratch, you absolutely can. You want to kind of add them at the last minute because they're already cooked, right? So you don't really need to cook them that much more. We're just going to bring them up to temperature and add the pasta. Okay, so our artichokes have gone for just a couple minutes to get nice and warm. You can see how much liquid is in there, which is totally fine because, like I said, the starch from the pasta is going to thicken up the sauce. I'm going to crank the heat up. I'm probably going to use not all this pasta. You can always add a little bit more to the pan. And I'm just going to let this kind of cook together, tossing gently. You don't have to get too aggressive, too crazy on it. We need a little bit of salt. We need a little bit of pepper. And I just want to cook this for like 2 or 3 minutes. Remember, we pulled the pasta out when it was just barely al dente because it's still continuing to cook in our sauce here. And over the next minute, it's going to get just cooked to perfection. Okay, so after a minute, if you like tip the pan, you'll see almost all that liquid has kind of been absorbed or thickened up. So we're going to add our couple secret weapons to end with a couple tablespoons of butter, maybe 1.5 tablespoons. Woo! You don't want to jump. I lost that one, so forget it. We're going to add some basil. And then off the heat, I'm going to add, we'll kill the heat, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil and kind of half a handful of Parmesan cheese. We're going to mix all this in. Now, if at any time the pasta looks a little bit too thick, like there's not enough sauce there, we reserve the little pasta water like we always do, and you can add that right in and give it a little toss. You want to taste to check the seasoning. This one needs a little salt, needs a little pepper, and we are good to go. Let's go ahead and serve it up. Okay, let's go ahead and serve up this awesome tomato and artichoke spaghetti. You want to pile it nice and high in the plate. As always, give it that little twist. Go around the edges of the pan to make sure you get some of that tomato and artichoke in there. And you are good to go. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.